Japan created some of the world's most advanced technology. I mean, they built bullet trains that arrive almost exactly on the second. They gave us global brands we all know: Toyota, Sony, Nintendo, Honda. The country has one of the longest life expectancies on Earth. Yet, behind all of this massive success is a problem that could completely transform the nation. Every year, Japan's population gets smaller. Millions of homes are literally being abandoned. Entire towns are just disappearing. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into how one of the richest, safest, and most technologically advanced countries in history is facing a question no advanced nation has ever truly solved. What happens when a society starts running out of people? It's a stunning paradox, right? On one side, you have this absolute global powerhouse, an economic titan and a cultural exporter. But peel back that layer of neon lights and bustling megacities, and you find a country running out of people. How does a society that optimized everything from microchips to infrastructure suddenly find itself struggling just to maintain its own population? It forces us to ask a really profound question. What happens when a society simply runs out of people? No advanced nation in modern history has ever truly solved this, leaving us to wonder how this is even possible. And to understand the future Japan is facing, we first have to look back at the economic peak that made it the absolute envy of the globe. Section 1. The Japan the world envied. Following the devastation of 1945, Japan rebuilt itself with unmatched discipline. Through the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s, they experienced this incredible economic miracle. They achieved absolute manufacturing dominance and exported innovation at a blistering pace. They were basically untouchable. But this rapid rise hit a devastating turning point. In the 1990s, a massive asset bubble crashed, triggering what economists call the lost decades, an era of stagnant growth and fundamentally altered employment patterns. But here's where the problem becomes even more complicated. The fallout wasn't just corporate or financial. This resulting economic uncertainty actually seeped into the very psychology of the country. It started fundamentally altering the most intimate human decisions people make, decisions about getting married, starting a family, and having children. Section 2. Anatomy of a crisis. Let's break down the hard numbers. Japan is currently seeing a massive, accelerating drop in its working-age population. When you pair plummeting birth rates with those incredibly long life expectancies we just talked about, Japan is quite literally transforming into one of the oldest societies in human history. We're talking about a fundamental hollowing out of the workforce that holds the entire nation together. This brilliantly illustrates the sheer overwhelming percentage of the aging population compared to the youth. The scale of this imbalance is staggering. You have a rapidly shrinking youth and working class attempting to carry the weight of a massive growing aging demographic. It creates an immense, unsustainable structural pressure on the country. Just imagine a smaller and smaller group of young workers being asked to support a larger and larger group of retirees. So why are fewer people having children? Well, when you look at the human story behind these numbers, it's a crushing perfect storm. Young people are facing exorbitant housing and living costs, paired with a notoriously grueling work culture that demands incredibly long hours. Add in intense career pressures, lingering anxiety from those economic crashes, and shifting social expectations, and for many, starting a family simply feels impossible. But a shrinking population doesn't just change lines on an economic chart. The next number reveals something surprising about how this demographic shift physically transforms the landscape of the country you actually live in. Section 3. The empty city problem. We are witnessing the unprecedented rise of what the Japanese call akiya, abandoned homes. There are literally millions of them spreading across the country. They are the physical scars of rural population decline. As young people migrate to megacities like Tokyo for work, they leave behind shrinking towns, empty houses, overgrown streets, and a wave of mass school closures. It's like watching entire communities just fade off the map. And as these communities vanish, the strain on infrastructure becomes critical. I mean, think about it. A declining population affects the economic viability of keeping a bullet train line open to a specific region or keeping a local hospital staffed. When there aren't enough people to pay local taxes, the foundational structures of modern civic life begin to fracture. Section 4. An economy running on empty. This brings us to a terrifying scenario, and it's where most people completely misunderstand Japan's crisis. They think it's just about quaint, empty houses in the countryside. It absolutely isn't. It is a cascading economic crisis that is actively threatening government spending, challenging traditional manufacturing, and choking future national growth. It's an active battle for economic survival. This maps out how severe labor shortages, an overburdened pension system, and skyrocketing healthcare demands are forcing a radical response. Companies and the government are desperately pouring billions into factory automation, AI, elder care robotics, and smart cities just to keep society functioning. They are quite literally trying to solve a deeply human deficit with advanced technology. Which begs a crucial, completely unprecedented question. Can smart cities and machines truly replace a shrinking human workforce in meaningful ways? Can an elder care robot provide genuine human empathy? Can artificial intelligence pay taxes into a pension system?
Section 5. Robots, AI, and Immigration.
So, let's explore Japan's unprecedented reliance on technology. Because the hard truth is, technology cannot solve everything. Sure, automation can build cars and sort packages, but it absolutely falls short when it comes to fundamental human labor needs and the dynamic, organic societal growth that only comes from a vibrant human population. And that brings us to the highly complex debate around immigration. Here we see the tension. Historically, Japan has maintained an approach of limiting immigration, strongly prioritizing cultural preservation and social homogeneity. But modern reality is crashing into tradition. Acute labor shortages are creating a sheer economic necessity for foreign workers to stock shelves, care for the elderly, and keep factories running, which has led to recent highly debated visa changes. This incredibly delicate balancing act could determine Japan's future. How does a nation impartially weigh deep-rooted cultural concerns against undeniable economic survival? The approach Japan takes to immigration policy in the coming years will be the defining factor in whether its workforce stabilizes or collapses. Section 6. A warning for the world. Ultimately, the lessons from this explainer serve as a stark warning for the rest of the world, because there is no single simple solution here. The potential paths forward require a complex, multifaceted mix, actively supporting families, shifting brutal work cultures, rethinking immigration, and expanding tech integration while trying to save rural towns. Every advanced nation currently watching their own birth rates dip is definitely taking notes on how Japan navigates this. I'll leave you with this final thought. Japan's challenge isn't a lack of intelligence, wealth, or technology. It has all three in absolute abundance. The challenge is adaptation. Japan has the wealth and the technology, but now it must show the entire watching world how a society built for a growing population learns to survive with fewer people. The only question left is, when this demographic winter comes to the rest of the world, will we be ready for it?
Thanks for watching World Decoded. Make sure to like and share, subscribe, and stay curious.